Welcome to Google. And I am going to shorten this right now, I think. Maybe not. I wanted to shorten this whole beginning altogether. So how about it's just welcome to Google for Real Estate. We're here live on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Replays are elsewhere. I'm Derek Bixler, realtor, outdoor sportsman, Google marketing geek. Come up to stage if you're here live. We welcome interaction, but you don't have to. And then replays and all the links are in the chat. So let's get right to it. Maybe next week I'll have an actual formulated. I want to get right into it faster, especially if I'm going to be. I might start also recording them in wide so that I can have it as a long form on Google maybe, and then in which case I don't want some long thing. I guess you could just cut it out and do some other thing, but then that's a whole another step. But anyway, today we'll be talking about news, some news things and some random topics and things. We'll have some Ask Me Anything if anybody has any questions about anything. And then based on some things I'm going to talk about today, in the chat, if you're here live, we used to put our review links in there, and you can still do that if you want, and then we would give each other reviews and things. But based on what I'm going to talk about today, I would say put your name in the chat. And what we want to do for each other is Google each other's names and then interact with their Google business profile, but also click on their website, browse their website, do all the signals that helps them show up on Google. Because as I'll talk about more, Google is now watching all your web presence, all the things, and then basing lots of your ranking of your Google business profile and your website and things like that based on signals kind of outside of your Google business profile. Brand queries, that would be the term you'd hear everybody say. They base it a lot on brand queries. How many times, how much are people looking this person or this business up? If lots of people, if everybody's searching for Derek, then when somebody searches for a Carlisle realtor, Google's probably going to shuffle me towards the top and say, this is one of the preferred people. That's the person everybody's looking for. So more and more, just as in the last few episodes, we're talking a lot more about a holistic approach, being everywhere, all over the internet, having a good reputation, putting a good reputation management uh, system in place, and getting reviews other places. Again, Google still being the dominant search part, but all this other stuff helps you search or helps you rank better on Google. So if you want to put your name in the chat, and then if you want to help somebody else, um, then you can also search them out and click on their things. And then over time, if people get more clicks and on the website and all the stuff, that can help people out as well, similar to reviews. Um, and then that brings me to the news and random things. And the first piece of news, also related to reviews, is a lot of people experienced. I think everybody experienced, if you paid attention about a week ago now, I suppose it's been. Um, all of us, pretty much everybody, lost some reviews, depending on how many reviews you had in the first place. Uh, would change how many reviews you lost. Like I had a client, I think he had 258 and he went down to like 198, something like that. So he lost like 57. I lost five at first. Then a day later, I lost a couple more. Then a day later, I lost a couple more. So I was down like 15 or 16 by the end of it. And I was getting texts and messages, and I posted something on Facebook too, and everybody would say, "I lost some too. I lost some too." And some people in the hundreds they lost. So if you had like hundreds, you may have lost a lot. And I don't think Google has said what it was. They did acknowledge that it was a bug and that they were going to fix it. It appears that it's been fixed. I haven't looked on the news feeds and things to see if Google said anything about it. But as of last night, yesterday, I don't know, I think 5 p.m. is when I noticed it, that mine were back. So almost back. I still lost five, but I had lost five prior to this bug incident. So I'm still down a little bit, but I'm back to where it was pre review bug. So if you lost some, yes, that sucked. and we were all freaking out. Everybody was freaking out. Everybody was talking about it. But they should be back now. So if you lost some, just check your profile and hopefully your reviews are back. And actually, the reviews never left. It was just an error in the review count total. So, and I've got some ideas on what was happening there, but it would just be my thoughts, so I won't even share them. They're probably wrong, but anyhow, so reviews should be back if you were missing any. Brand and off Google actions matter even more. Like we've been talking about, your brand everywhere is important to Google, and more people are starting to talk about it, how you need to take this holistic approach, and Google is watching all the other places to then make decisions on who to put top in the rankings, both your Google business profile or your website or whatever else, possibly even your Facebook page or something else. Um, Search on AI reasoning models. Now local search better. Why did I write that? Search on AI. Oh, yeah. So new AI models, Gemini is the one I use because it's on my phone. The new models, and I'm sure ChatGPT has it and all the other ones. The old models were dumber, so to speak, and the newer models that have more reasoning are a little bit smarter and they think about things more, hence the reasoning. When you ask it something, it then spits back to you, I'm going to do this. Well, to do the task you asked me to do, I need to go to the internet and search out the thing. Then I need to find it. Then I need to go there and read it. Then I need to summarize it for you. Then I need to put it in a table or whatever it needs to do. It shows you the thing thinking as it thinks. And a lot of times now they have better answers. And in the previous models, local search type searches were terrible on AI, on ChatGPT or even Gemini or any of those things. If you asked it the best realtor in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, it would not give you a good answer, or it would give you an answer, but if you double checked it against Google or Yelp or wherever you like to vet places, probably multiple places, it did not match up, and you're like, oh, that was terrible. That didn't make any sense. So this matters because now those AIs can do kind of what the Google local search does. So I actually did it on Gemini, and what I experienced was it came up, I think it gave me maybe five or six or seven top ones. It definitely, and it said for each one, this is why I chose it. It had like this Zillow presence. It seemed to have this. This one has this many Google reviews. In my experience, the top like three or four or so were based mostly on Google reviews and maybe Yelp. I think Yelp was in there maybe, and Facebook I think was mentioned, but I think Google was the predominant like source for the top few, and then Zillow was in there a lot too. It seemed to put a lot of emphasis on Zillow. So what I've been saying for a while still holds true. We need to start thinking about reviews on Zillow, reviews on Facebook, still Google for sure, but also being in the other places. Yelp. Yelp is always talked about with local search. I've always hated Yelp, still kind of do, but it is coming into the mix, especially with Google being in all the litigation and everything and kind of having to share the market for local search a little bit. So the AI reasoning models are at making local search a thing that those things can do, and we need to again stay on the road of expanding and being on the places. I'm even now like I gotta drink my own medicine. I have to go get a couple reviews on Facebook and get some reviews on Zillow. I haven't gotten a review on Zillow for can't even tell it years. Ever since I started focusing on Google, I don't even think about asking for a review on Zillow. Although I preach it to other people, and if you don't have a Gmail address, I should send the Zillow one to those people. But anyhow, so next piece of news here is Google DeepMind AI has surpassed the abilities of top mathematicians for the first time. So DeepMind is Google's AI department, I guess, and it has finally surpassed mathematicians, which was kind of a surprise to me because I would have thought it did it long ago. Like, can a computer do things that people can't do a long time ago, especially with mathematics and that kind of stuff and calculations and whatnot, but apparently not. If it was, I guess, very, very complex stuff that only the top mathematicians of the world could do, they could still beat a computer, or the computer just couldn't figure it out, I guess. But now, by whatever standard they're using, I don't know what the test is, but whatever standard or test they're using, Google's DeepMind AI has surpassed the abilities of mathematicians for the first time, which is important. It probably has to do with that reasoning layer that's being put on everything now. It can reason through things and have somewhat abstract thinking, maybe, to be able to do that stuff. Add your offers again. I feel like I said this last week, but I have the note here, so I'll say it. If you haven't, and especially if you were a client or had me optimize your profile, um, you'll need to add your offers again right now. So I usually make my offers expire. If you don't know, you click add update in your profile, you click add offer, and you want to have at least one or two offers running at all times. So you have that line item and looking pretty on your profile. And sometimes there's a button that says deals or offers on there. So you want to have offers. Um, but they only run for a certain amount of time. You can't have them run indefinitely. You can have them run up to a year. I usually do, you could do 364. I think you could do 365 days, but I always have them expire on December 31st of whatever calendar year I'm in, whether I'm in June or January or October or whatever. So if I do a client profile, if I've done your profile, your offers expire on December 31st. And that's what I would advise if you've never put offers on before. I would do it right now and have them expire at the end of the year, and then just make a note every January 1st or in January sometime you need to add your offers on again. I typically do, every single agent should have a free home valuation would be one offer. And then if you do buyers also, you could have a free buyer consultation. And then you could have other things like no dual agency offer or something like that. So offers typically for us as real estate agents aren't actual free things. I mean, I suppose you could give away free inspections for this month if you wanted to run some kind of offer like that. I don't like doing monetary things, or there's a lot of compliance involved with giving away things like that and advertising it, yada yada. So I typically stay away from any actual like monetary offers or like money off offers or something like that. But for sure, free home valuation, free buyer consultation. If you have any unique selling propositions like that, no dual agency, or I have a triple guarantee, or whatever, sold or I buy it, or any of those kind of things could be offers. But have at least one, at minimum one, do that free home price evaluation or whatever you want to call it. Add it on there. You need to have an image. It's pretty self-explanatory when you click on it. So that would be in your add updates. Then click on add offer and then just fill it out, start and end time, description, link to get the thing. For the link, you could use a Calendly link to set up a call with you, or you could have it go to, if it's the home valuation one, it could go to a page for a home valuation, or even if you don't have a website, you can maybe just make a Google form that looks pretty and takes the basic information for you to then get the alert and get back to them and send them something. You can, I've never tried to do it, but I suppose you could I'm sure you would have to be able to these days automate an RPR property report to be sent to somebody. So just have like a Google form or whatever form, however it comes in, even from a CRM. When this happens, run it on RPR, create this report, and email that to the person. And I'm sure there are automations that kind of do that within the CRM already and everything. But anyhow, add your offers again, and then for the link out, do whatever makes sense, or whatever you have. If you don't have a website with a home evaluation page, make a Google form or just have it go to your Calendly link or something. So add your offers. Uh, I just heard on a a podcast yesterday that public trust and confidence in reviews has dropped significantly just in the last year. Just I think it was like 35 or 40% or something since 2024 and 2025. The change of people that said they trust online reviews dropped, and that's not a direct quote, and don't quote me on that. But it was a big number. That's why I wrote significantly here and not the number because I didn't remember it. But I thought that was very interesting, and obviously we all still need reviews. We know that reviews convert people. Reviews on video are the bomb also. I just saw, if any of you know Krista Lorenzo, and I didn't plug that. Me and her are starting that show, and I've got a bunch of people interested now. You might have gotten the email that went out. If you didn't, and you're here live, you can look in the chat, and the guest interest form is in there, and it's at the top of the room too. And let me invite some of you up because I haven't looked at the screen since I started yapping. Come up, wherever you are. I need a sip too. All right. So public trust and confidence is going down in regard to them trusting reviews. So, I mean, reviews are still important. So I don't know what that really means to us, other than, and the other people have said this also, again, with the holistic approach, they will not trust Google alone, possibly, but if they look you up and then go to Yelp and it's the same story, 5 stars, lots of reviews, they go to Zillow to double check, yep, 5 stars, lots of reviews, and go to all the places, then they do trust them. But just like one place, people kind of aren't buying it anymore. They kind of want a second opinion or something, which is also illustrated by Google now. They bring in reviews from other places. Used to be it was just showing you Google reviews for that business. But now a lot of times if you do a branded search, or even if you just say Carlisle Realtor and you come upon somebody's profile, it will say this many Google reviews, but also this many Facebook, this many Zillow, yada yada. Those being the two top ones, as I've said a million times, Facebook and Zillow. Rate My Agent pretty good, and experience.com also. So be all the places again, and I gotta take some of my own medicine to start getting reviews all the places as well. They also ask maps about this place, and request a call. So those three things are three, and you may have experienced these things in Google Maps that they have added recently. So basically, it will ask a question of a business. If you look up, I need a reservation in X town for dinner on this night, it will ask for you. It'll say, hey, do you want me to ask for you? And it'll go out, call the business or message the business or whatever it needs to do. And then it'll get back to you, all within Google, not having to sign up for Gemini or any of these things. It's just kind of as a feature, especially on the Google Maps app, but also some of the examples were on desktop as well. And then ask Maps about this place, same kind of thing. And you've even seen, if you've been on Google Maps lately, a lot of times it will have an AI summary of the business. Basically, it's just reading the description, maybe scanning the website or something, maybe reading a couple of reviews, and then it gives a sentence or two blurb about the business, a summary about it. So that's been in place for a little while, but ask Maps about this place, so you can ask it questions about the place, and then the AI spits you answers back. And then request a call. This is where Google will actually wait on hold for you. So the example I saw, I think it was on desktop, uh, and I'm sure it's on mobile too, but it was a customer service example. They Googled Best Buy customer service, and then it had the phone number at the top, but then below it, it had a form and a big blue button that said request a call. And then what it would do is Google would call the business, wait on hold to talk to somebody or click buttons, whatever it's waiting on hold to do. And then instead of it sounded like it didn't actually talk to the company and interact for you. It would just wait on hold for you. Then it would, a lot of phone systems, customer service systems allow you to not lose your place in line, but get a call back instead. So basically, it would call for you, wait on hold for you, then request that call back, and then you would just get the call back from the customer service line is how I understood it. So all that to say, AI is coming into local search and Google Maps and how people are starting to interact with local businesses. So we need to be watching all that kind of stuff. It's more for restaurants or big businesses. That customer service example is kind of a big giant business example. So I don't know that any of those, I haven't seen any of these features really apply to realtors or have any that are specifically for interacting with realtors, but I'm assuming it'll come. There's money in real estate, so they want to capitalize on it for sure. Yeah, I think I covered that. And they're all examples also of what our universal AI agents will be doing eventually. So a universal AI agent is that ultimate thing that does everything for you, that is kind of yours. You name it, learns it, kind of like people are doing with ChatGPT now. And there are kind of ChatGPT kind of has an AI agent now. Google has one that I'm still waiting for. I wish they would release it already because I want to try it out for sure. But they are out there, but not on the level that people imagine them to be. But very soon they probably will be, or they will be. Um, so these are all examples of things that you probably won't even go to search to do. So they're kind of a waste of time for Google to even create these things, because once everybody has their own universal AI agent, their own virtual assistant, digital virtual assistant, it'll be doing this ask maps about the place, request a call. It'll do the call for you. It'll ask for you. It'll do all the stuff and it'll talk to the people. And you can pick the voice and all that stuff. I was just thinking today, what would I name mine? Because you can probably name them, right? Um, so do I want it to be a woman or a dude? Or I suppose you could switch back and forth and change its voice whenever you want to. But uh, so that'll be fun when we all have to name our agents. But anyway, so all examples of things that will kind of not be needed in the very near future, probably for a lot of people that adopt the universal AI agents. And then another thing I saw somebody highlight was on Google Maps again, is Google is starting to, and again, this goes back to the holistic and Google looking at you all over the web to then decide who ranks best for queries. They've added trending. So the example I saw was restaurants in a city, and there were some Google business profiles, but there was a pretty close to the top, a pretty predominant kind of slider thing with tiles that said trending, and then like top lists, and there might have been a couple other ones, basically top places for what you just uh, searched for. And when they clicked on them and looked at them, the results were based on, and the AI told you why it based it on them, but the results were based on Yelp and Zillow and like all the things, like I was saying, like when you ask the reasoning model, who's the best local agent, it was similar to that. It said, well, this person is featured on Zagat's and it was just in the news, and being in the news was a big one. There are a lot of people looking this brand up and searching for this brand. Search volume for this brand is up right now. So things like that. So in Google Maps, that holistic thing is coming into effect even more. And I could see them doing that for realtors for sure. Why wouldn't they? According to our own Google business profiles, but also Zillow and all the places, these are the top lists of the realtors in X area. And I was frankly surprised by the ones I saw. None of them I would have guessed would have been in that list when I did for my area. I was not in the list. I ranked pretty well on, as far as my Google business profile goes, on like a Google search. But when I did the AI search, I was nowhere to be found. So it makes you think about it a lot more. So these top lists and trending and all that stuff is just one more example of the holistic approach we need to take and be looking good in all, not everywhere, but all the important places. It does feel like everywhere. It's a lot of places and a lot of things to optimize and a lot of things to manage, obviously, but kind of have to at least be set up in all the places looking awesome, and then seems like we got our spread our attention too, especially with the reviews and be kind of on top of Zillow. That still seems to be the top one to be still getting reviews on, and Facebook business page and all the things while still doing the Google and all the things. And also, and they kept what people keep also bringing up is brand queries. So I mentioned it before, is that Google cares and is looking at a lot the brand queries. Are people looking this brand up? Is this person in other top lists? Are these people in the news and in the news recently? So if you can do press releases or get articles for some reason, in my area, we could do, I mean, you could do press releases for pretty much everything. For commercial deals, for sure, that's pretty easy to get a press release for that because it's business related and they want fodder for the business and the real estate sections. So that's pretty easy to get published. To get an article, like in my area, I know there's a go-to, there's a, what's it called? Cool Spaces, or I don't think something Spaces, Cool Spaces or Awesome Spaces, or some kind of column like that in the one paper, in the biggest paper. Um, and then some others pick it up as well. You can do that if you've got a cool. I've had a old. It was our first ski mountain here, and my friend's mom bought. It was shut down long ago when the other one opened. They put them out of business. It was tiny, but anyway, my friend's mom owned it, and it had like a house attached to it, and she had a photography studio and the pond there. So it was a super cool property. This old ski lodge turned into a house slash business. And I was able to get in the paper for that. What else have I had in other commercial stuff? I had this one flex building that looked like a castle that was kind of a landmark that everybody knew about and would recognize. So that one I got in the news about. Um, I had a log cabin that was moved to a different property. It was a historic log cabin, moved, and then it was also a mill and a springs, and all renovated, like perfect, pristine. That one we were able to get in the news. So think about when you have a unique property or something that's newsworthy, or even just a commercial deal. A lot of times, a press release or whatever. Can get you in the news, at least your name, your website, and your brand somewhere on big websites that Google trusts, that Google sees and says, oh, this person's being mentioned here and mentioned there. The more you can do that, the more you can get people to search you, that branded query, they say, the more all that can happen, the more it's going to help you show up at the top of Google search. And I mean, it's all going to help you with all the AIs, all the places that all the search engines, all the places you're going to search for things. It's going to help you everywhere. So um, keep trucking on all the things. And I think that's the end of all my news and random things. Anybody have any questions, comments? Anybody lost their reviews and didn't get them back? Anything? And I know people lost reviews.
Hey Derek, this is Natalka. Thanks for bringing me up. I didn't lose reviews. However, and it does say my local service ads are active and running. I'm able to edit both, the local service ads as well as my Google business profile. Everything's like functioning, except I haven't still been getting calls on my profile for a year since last February. Now, initially, when I changed brokerages, um, they needed my E&O insurance, and that was something that I didn't provide to them, like the updated one from the new brokerage. So I did that in November, and they said, okay, everything's great. I'm still not getting calls. And so I check and it says my background check is still pending. And this has been like a year. And so I've been going back and forth. I don't know if you would somehow be able to help me with this. Maybe I have to hire you to get involved. But I've talked to them and they say that my email address is not associated with my local service ads or my Google account or something like that. But it is. I mean, I've confirmed with Google. Like I called them and they said, yes, that's your email address. And so it just keeps saying that the background check is pending. Have you ever heard of anything like this?
Yeah, I hate the background check. It's the glitchiest part of the whole thing. It's not uncommon that what you're describing happens, and sometimes you have to do two background checks because you have to do like one for the business, and then it also wants you to run one for you as the like the agent, the professional at the business, which is also stupid. It's like here's me, but then there's also me working at me. But anyway, yeah, it's terrible. They use a third party. Is yours Evident or what's the other one? Pinkerton?
Yeah,
It's usually Evident or
evident.
Pinkerton.
And
Evident.
there's no phone number, like you can't call them. It's just a mad circle that you go. And I keep emailing. So I'm emailing them like every day and Google as well, because I'm hoping I just, if I pester them enough, they'll want me to go away and they'll fix it.
Yeah, that's what ends up happening. I haven't solved that problem for a little while. When I did it, it's that circle. You ask Google basically, why isn't this working? They say it's Evident's problem. Then you go over to Evident and contact them, and they're like, we did it, and we sent the signal over. And then you go back to the local services ads, and you're like, well, they said it's your problem on your end, and then, no, it's not. We can't do anything. So then you go back to Evident, and I don't even know at which point something got reset. I know we were successful at some point.
So I should just keep trying, but there's
I feel like it was on
no,
the Evident side of it, or
yeah,
if local
I'm sure
services ads. Go ahead.
they probably just need to flip a switch and say, yes, it's done, you know?
Yeah, or just reset it, like delete everything I did and let me just start over. But that's
Correct.
the I hate, and not all states have it. Every time I set somebody's account up in a state I haven't done yet, like please don't have the background check. I don't think
Yeah.
Florida. I feel like Florida doesn't have it. Maybe
Well,
Texas or something.
I'll keep trying.
Yeah, and if all else fails, and it might still be a glitch, and I'm about to ditch, I have a client that I don't, local services ads, and people have also been talking about this recently, that leads are down, leads suck, yada yada. Um, and I don't know that anything has changed per se, other than there's just more competition. The cat's out of the bag when it first came out and I first signed up with it, and I was like one of the first people to try it. It was like, holy crap. It was like no other ad I've ever other run. I'm just getting calls. I was getting calls for like a couple bucks. There was no competition. They were real calls and real business and stuff. I even had to shut it off because I wasn't like a habitual phone answerer before local services ads. And then once it started working, I was like, holy crap. And I turned the ad off and I was like, all right, I got to regroup a little bit. I got to make sure I can answer the phone every time. I got to commit to answering the phone every time. And then it worked. And then, every time somebody talks about it, the cat's out of the bag. And Tom Ferry has a conference and there's a breakout session about Google stuff, and then everybody comes back, and then especially when all the heavy hitters catch on to it and start doing it correctly, then all the people, the mid people kind of like me who were doing good and crushing it, then the big teams who have 700 reviews already set up their local services ads and put their budget to the roof and have tons of interaction and brand queries because they're sending out tons of mailers and having tons of community events and getting tons of referrals. So it all like feeds on itself. And you don't get charged unless you get a lead. So why wouldn't you? Like every one of my clients, that's why we set it up. If you have a Google business profile and there are local services ads available to your business type, which there are for us, why wouldn't you have them set up and at least be in the mix? And if you don't get something, no harm, no foul. But it used to be, it went from shooting fish in a barrel for super cheap, like this is crazy, insane, I can't believe this even exists, to very quickly, within a year or so, people catching on. And now, like I said, everybody knows about it. So part of it is just market saturation, I think. Part of it is also sometimes Google is changing how they show things in search. Like last week, I was noticing I wasn't seeing the local services ads at all a lot of times when I would search in somebody's, like I'm on a call with somebody and I search realtor in their area to see what comes up. A lot of times I wouldn't even see the local services ads, which would make me look stupid because I'm here saying, like, when you search it, the thing you'll see at the top, the very top, every time will be local services ads, and then they aren't there. But it just goes to show, like, Google is always testing things. And it's probably similar to Facebook, where Facebook I've heard people say they're always testing thousands of different versions simultaneously at all times at Facebook, and then they figure out what works best and make like finite changes based on that stuff. So like I've heard like every time you log on to Facebook, you are technically on a different version. I don't know if that's true, but I think that's what I had heard. And Google's probably similar. They're always testing things and then making changes based on people's interactions with those changes and tests. Um, so to make your local services ads work again, um, well, first of all, if you can sort out that background check, that helps to put gas in the tank just to get all that sorted out. If you are unable to, you can ditch the account. You can go in the back end of Google Ads, which is kind of like a separate dashboard from Local Services Ads dashboard, and fully cancel the account, and then just create a new one. And hopefully you don't have any glitches or issues with it being kind of a duplicate of something that already existed. In the past, it wouldn't have been much of an issue at all. Now they're a little bit more finicky about it. It's connected to your Google business profile a little bit more. So possibility of glitches or something happening again. But if you started a whole new one, I would hope that it would then reset the evident and the background check thing also. And then hopefully you don't have the same problem that time. Other things you could do, if you do regain it, pass the background check, get that checked off. The other things you can do on a local services ads account, there isn't much because as you know, there's no headlines to change. Like, we're not getting any clicks. Let's change our headlines and our body copy and our image and our video, but that's not part of local services ads. So, or the landing page, or opt-in sucks, or button color, or whatever. There isn't any of that stuff. So, really, the only things you can do in local services ads is expand location. Although I'll add a note to that, contrary to that. From something recent, you can expand your location, which there's always a banner at the top whenever you log in there. Expand your location or your service areas to get more leads. So expand your location, which most of us don't want to do, so that's not really an option. You can up your budget, obviously, but as everybody in here knows, it's never going to spend whatever budget you put in there. It's never going to spend it. Some people make out better than others, but mine's set to a couple thousand, and I maybe get a call or two a month. Um, my account is one of the ones that I'm about ready to ditch because I feel like it's got bad juju on it, or it's blacklisted on the, and I hate that term, but I feel like there's something with it. But even if I call, everything's fine. You look at it, it's good. I look better than everybody else, blah, blah, blah. Um, I've called, no issues, yada, yada, but for some reason, nothing's freaking happening. So I'm about to do it also. So location you can expand, budget you can up. I wouldn't take it from like 500 to a million, but maybe every week nothing's happening, and this is what I do: up it another 200, another 200, another 200 until something happens. Sometimes even lowering it. So if you had it at some crazy number, and some people have this, or this was a common practice for a while there, you had at like a million a week because it's never going to happen, and it kind of worked to do that. And some of those like Y Lopos and things were doing like 26 million a week. But if you have some, even if it's 5,000 or 10,000, some number that is kind of no one would ever pay that. Well, some people would, the big teams, but is kind of outrageous number. If you back it down to an actual reasonable number, so from 10 grand to like 1,000 or even like 800, sometimes even backing it off can jar the system to get something to happen. So location you can mess with if you want to. Budget you can mess with up or down, really. Sometimes can mess with it. Sometimes just being in the dashboard doing crap gets miraculously. I've had multiple people where we've optimized their local services ads, and then like that day or the next day, like I got a call right away. And then again, it just dies down and kind of goes back to normal. But sometimes, and this goes with other ads too. Sometimes you turn them on and off, or you go in your dashboard and do stuff or whatever. Sometimes it creates something to happen. So location, budget, photos, you definitely want to make sure you have a robust photos section because that's the only visual differentiator you have on local services ads from other people. Make sure they're high quality, only your highest quality pictures of clients and houses. No pictures of kids or pets because you can't have kids in ads and pets get mistaken by the AI as kids. And sometimes they use those images, those added images, as the actual image for your local service ad instead of your headshot. You barely ever see it. I don't know. I think I've seen it like once or twice maybe, but usually it's going to be your headshot, but they will also use those images. So make sure they're only high quality, pristine, no gobbledygook on them. It will reject it if it doesn't like it for sure. It will be more harsh in judging your photos than your Google business profile. But photos, so make sure you have photos to begin with, but then you could also, if you're trying to jar the system, add some more photos in there. Make sure any that need attention, there's a tab that says need attention. You want to delete any of those photos that were flagged. Like if you had any kids ones in there, they'll probably be sitting in needs attention. Delete all those. Upload some new ones. Your services that you are open. So like I do buyer agency, seller agent, relocation, all those things. You could go in there, check those, maybe turn one or two off. If you probably have rentals and property management off already. Other on or off. There's debate whether that does anything or doesn't, or whether it gets you more bad stuff or whatever. But the other one is one you could toggle on and off just to kind of like do something in there without really affecting what you want to get. You could turn off maybe first time buyers, um, because sometimes those are the lower price calls or the harder people to work with or whatever. I like actually kind of working with them, even though those things may be true at times. Those people are really appreciative, seem to be really appreciative. And they're younger and they kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm on their level more or something. But anyway, you could turn first time buyers off or the other buyer's agent or relocation or something that's not like you're definitely not going to turn off seller's agent. But you could turn on and off one of those other toggles and then come back and turn it back on later. So again, just kind of doing something to hopefully maybe jar the system. And then outside of the services, location, budget, and photos, I don't think there's anything in there you can really mess with other than, how could I forget the most important thing being your headshot. So I'm convinced, I mean, the headshots usually it's you Google a place realtor, and all the way at the top, although I'm eating my words recently, it feels like all the way at the top are the local services ads, 2 to 3 people. You can click more to see more, but there's 2 to 3 people. And then each tile really just says a name, stars, and then there's a big head there, the headshot. And they're finicky about that headshot too. They want it close up, blah, 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 all the things I preach about headshots anyway. So it's a bunch of faces there, and I'm convinced that people are they're immediately gonna go with whoever they resonate with. Like I tend to to work with Aunt Barbara types, or I like to generally work with young go-getter Chad types or whatever. They're going to kind of pick whatever they resonate with based on a face physiologically or whatever, and subconsciously probably in a lot of cases. Then they're going to scan over, look at the stars. Okay, like the face, stars are high enough and the rating is high enough. Click the call button, decide on that person. So the headshot would be another major thing, like I said, that you could try to change up. Natalka probably has some of the best headshots in the game. So I don't know. I would still, maybe you could try it, just try a different one and maybe it resonates differently or something. But I got to believe that you got some of the best headshots going in the game. Uh, so that's probably not the issue, but it is one of the things that some of us others, or if you don't, I have seen some that like the headshots straight garbage. I'm surprised that the local services ads even allowed it to be used. It should have been rejected. Nobody's going to pick this person based on this headshot. They're like, why isn't it working? I don't know. It could be all these other things, but it could probably also be that you look pissed off, it's grainy, it's not close enough up, it's blah, blah, blah. So the headshot means a lot, especially in those local services ads, because I'm convinced people scan face I like, enough stars, call that person. Oh, didn't answer. Oh, here's a face I like. Enough stars. Call the person. Oh, they didn't answer. Here's the other face I like. Enough stars. Call the person. So that headshot you can mess with too, and the headshot is a big, like I said, a big conversion factor with local services ads, I believe. But again, Natalka, probably not your issue, but maybe just switch it to another one so you look like a different person, or kind of like switching the money shot of the listing.
Yeah, I'll try some. I have gone in and fooled around a little as you suggested. I did up my budget, but maybe I'll bring it back down and see what happens. So thank you for all the suggestions, Derek.
Yeah, no problem.
That is a horrible headshot. It's fucking horrible.
Terrence, you have a bad one. You're unmuted if you weren't. It
Sorry
sounded
about
like you were
that.
checking out yours and didn't like
I'm
it,
sitting here working.
or somebody else's or somebody. Yeah. Yeah, make sure your headshot is on point for sure. You don't want to have a bad headshot out there. And it should be close up. On local services ads, they dictate that it has to be close up because they want people to be able to see the features of your face, not like, that's a lady, that's some lady, or that's some dude. It's definitely a dude in a suit, but I can't see the features and, chemically, physiologically, blah, 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 scientifically, whatever. Our monkey brain can't relate to a face or see features and things like that if it's not close up. So local services ads forces you to have a nice close up one. Um, and your face and your profile picture is always so freaking tiny all the time that you want it to be nice and close up so people can see it. And we're at 9:55. Anybody else have any other questions, issues on anything already discussed or anything else? Oh, Terrence, I also saw in the chat that you had a review to share. Is he still here?
I listed my review link and saying that I would share with someone, and I think Maria did leave me a review, so I'm going to leave her a review today as well.
Sweet. Awesome. Hope they show up for you both. And hopefully, if you lost any, they have returned also. I think Google, so with that, what when they were missing, I think so. Google Maps is where your reviews actually live. That's one department at Google, department, section, I don't know, business, whatever, I don't know. But Maps is one place. That's where your reviews technically live. And then the Google Business Profile department is a whole separate thing at Google. When your Google Business Profile is verified and in good standing, it will connect to those reviews on Google Maps and bring them over and display them on your Google Business Profile. What I think is Google Maps remained the way it was. The reviews were all there, which is why the count was wrong, but the reviews most times, I think every time, but they were saying the reviews were still there, but the count was just off. So I think that reviews were still there on Maps, and on the Google Business Profile side, they changed their programming, their algorithm, whatever, that decides which reviews are allowed to be displayed on the Google Business Profile. And they did something too harsh. Like, I don't know what it was. I didn't analyze which ones. I don't even know which ones disappeared and then came back. I didn't analyze anything, but I think they changed something to make their spam filters even harsher. Like maybe it was, they've always said replying to reviews helps them to not get taken away, and it's you should reply to all reviews, but I don't think there's a hard and fast like every single one without a review gets removed. I feel like somebody like clicked that button and it went boom, and then, like every single review without a reply disappeared, and I don't that's not what happened. I don't think, I haven't heard anybody say that's what happened, but I feel like it's something like that where somebody turned something on and it then said any reviews coming from Maps that fit this criteria are automatically out, and then everybody experienced it and it was way too much, and then they had to back off of it, and they call it a bug to everybody, but really it's kind of a mistake. Really, I guess every bug maybe is kind of a mistake, and I have no evidence that any of that's true, but that's kind of how I am imagining it happened. um, and we're 2 minutes till. Does anybody have anything or anything? or else we can peace out and have a good hump day. And I can look up Opus Clip and dump in 3 hours worth of content I've got right now. I wonder what the pricing is on Opus Clip. That was way at the beginning of the room. I'd asked Kristen a software to upload long form video that chops it into vertical, and maybe it does wide versions too. I would think maybe it does, but to chop it up into shorts and put all the graphics and the gobbledygook on it and everything. So I am gonna look up Opus Clip, and I did just cancel Kajabi, which was my everybody uses School. Kajabi has been like the biggest one forever, kind of. Now School's kind of taking over. My course was on Kajabi, and that was kind of expensive every month. And I don't sell a lot of my course, and nobody does the course that even buys it. So I kind of sunsetted that. It is still available. I still have it like as Google Drive, which is functionally pretty much the same for free. So I canceled that. So maybe some of that money will go to Opus Clips or membership, or even if it's maybe they have one-time purchases, I'm sure they do also.
Hey, Derek. I just wanted to let you know, they do have a free trial, Opus Clip, and right now the pro version is 50% off. So it's $174 for the whole year. So it's really not too bad.
Oh, snap.
Hey, Derek, it's Jen in Austin. Opus Clips does a good job at certain things, but at other things it doesn't. And one of the things that it's really good at is it'll determine sort of like these should get the best engagement, but they may not always make the most sense to you. I'm a big fan of Descript, which takes more human time, but what it will let you do is edit by it puts all of the transcript underneath, so you literally cut out words and then that cuts the video based on the words. And so it would give you more control. It takes more time, but it gives you more control of the clips and where they stop and start. And you can add all, like you said, the gobbledygook that you want as well. So different methodology and creative process, but will potentially give you more control.
Nice. I just Googled it and I will scan that also. Yes, more control. More control. Maybe I should not allow myself to have more control because that's what I'm trying to avoid, but I also want it. Yeah, because I do like if I want a certain something that I know I want done, then that would be nice. So,
There's also no limits, right? Descript comes, I think it'll kick out based on the packages that you buy. I may be wrong, they may have changed it, but take a look and see what that package is and do the trial and see if you get what you like. The trial is totally worth doing. And it does spit out things super fast. I just don't know how many clips it will spit out for you based on, the hours worth and how much you can upload. And I also
gotcha.
don't know about storage and whether you can keep things. For those who are using it, can you then keep it in there and then reuse it at a later date?
Stuff, blah, unlimited use, blah, blah, blah. 1080p. I wonder if, oh no, creator, hobbyist 1080p at creator 4K, 24 a month, Descript, Opus Clip, whatever. That sounds like a no-brainer for Opus Clip, 100 whatever for the year, and then possibly also Descript, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll try
Derek, I
both
have
free
Descript
ones.
also.
Yeah.
I also have Descript. I love it for so many different things. So if you're, I would say, based on what you said, you wanted something easy and fast, it's going to be more automatic. Opus Clip is probably the best one for that purpose. But look into Descript because it can do a lot more things than just that. And you might fall in love with what it can do because I sure did. I don't think I could live without Descript at this point.
Hmm. Is it more of a like an editor?
Yeah, it's an
Like it's just
editor.
got a little bit,
My
yeah.
favorite thing that it can do is when you record a video, it transcribes it for you. So it has every word you just said in your video, and you can edit based on where you said the words, as opposed to look like scrolling on the timeline to find where to cut it. You can just go to where you ended the word in the transcript and cut it. And it makes editing so easy.
It also, and then from there, what you can do, Derek, is you can have it set so that it gets out air gaps as well in Word, so that instead of having space between words, you can just set it so it can be like anything that has more than X amount of seconds or whatever. You can change it so what it will allow you to do is make sure that there's enough zip in the clip to create opportunity for that as well. So I found it really helpful because if you have a word that's getting cut off and you've hit, your time, there are ways to kind of squeeze things in. It's really is amazing, and how you can edit within it.
Do you edit in the browser? Is it a cloud-based editor, or do you download like an app or something?
There's an app. But
Gotcha.
what I like is you can edit on your phone or you can edit on your computer.
Gotcha. And hopefully it's not Apple only or some crap that I'm not seeing. Huh,
Derek,
yeah. And
you know I'm not
I
Apple.
just
Come on.
bought Filmora. I just re-upped my editor that I've been using for like 10 years. Then I bought Filmora because my editor doesn't do like the sound like wave things for is like the only thing it doesn't do. So I had to get that. And it doesn't do captions well either. Filmora does captions better. But now there's gonna be a third editor, I guess. Whatever.
I'm really
Thank
blown
you.
away by the simplicity of Descript as well as the functionality. So it's got a combination that is really amazing, especially for those of us who aren't professional editors. There's some really great stuff, and there's a ton of YouTube learning on it that you can do that will just instantly give you a skill set that will allow you to jettison how fast you're creating. Lots and lots of content on YouTube for how to do it.
Sweet. And did you know that some companies make things purposely difficult so that you have to have the training? Like a lot of times, like industrial systems, a lot of times they're notorious for it will make like the logistics software for the trucking company uh, way more hard and not intuitive the way they could make it, just so they need to get the training from the company that sells the software to give them the training. I don't think this is that case. They probably are
No,
trying to
no.
make it
Well,
as easy as possible, but
Descript gives amazing training themselves, but there are a zillion people on YouTube that you can find that also will provide you with that training.
yeah.
But Descript is very good about that. They're constantly putting out updates and giving tutorials. So once I go back to more video content, because I've been on hiatus, but once I go back into that, Descript will be the thing that I go back to for sure.
Hey, Jen, are you going to go to Red B?
As of right now, I am not, but that doesn't mean that I can't come to San Antonio for a visit.
Okay. Um, so I bought my ticket and I reserved the hotel room, and I'd love a roomie. If you know anybody who's looking for a roomie, have them hit me
Well,
up.
shit, that would be fun. Let's talk offline.
Okay.
Well, shit, party in San Antonio.
It should be good. I'm excited. And then I finally get to meet Juan. Haven't met Juan or Derek or Sharif, few of you in person. Haven't met Meinhardt in person, Natalka, you guys. So anyhow, I'm not. I opted to do Red B in lieu of Ferry Summit, and I'll just stream the summit. That works better for me. I like that Red B's just 2 days of consolidated, and it's on a Thursday, Friday, and it's not in the middle of the summer where I'm not going to be here anyway. Probably be in Turkey, but in any event, I'm excited. I haven't been before, so Derek, it's
Tell me when they
April
have
20.
a when they ever have a conference ever in Salt Lake, in a mountain,
I know,
in
right?
Vermont, in like I don't somewhere, I don't even care, somewhere in the middle of the woods or something. Never,
Well,
it'll never happen because it's not easily accessible. It's not warm all
well,
the time.
hold
Blah blah
up,
blah.
hold up. Salt Lake's in the middle of the, pretty much, kind of, sort of more middle of the country than many other places, right? It's an international airport, very easy, cheap to fly into. Um, Affordability wise, it's really good, unless you're going up to Park City. But the conferences are typically down in Salt Lake. I think it's a great location, and there should be.
Yeah, Salt Lake City would be. That's the
Yeah,
exception, I think. Portland, or not Portland, that would be stupid, I think.
yeah,
Something like Killington or like places like that, like that's terrible. Or like remoter places. But yeah, places like Salt Lake City or even Park City or not Canada, because like Whistler would be cool. That would be awesome. But I just found out I can't go to Canada, apparently. Is that true
really,
that with a DUI you can't go to Canada?
dude, no way. Oh my
I've
god,
never heard such a thing.
that's crazy.
I don't know.
All the Canadians would have to be deported.
Hey, you
Well,
know
they're
who
already
I?
there though.
Yeah. Oh my god, the whole departing. Okay, um, y'all. What was I going to say? Oh, you know who I get to see again is Mitzi's business partner, Jen. Is going to come. She's going to stay at my house. And we're doing a little thing together over here on next month in March. So I'm excited to see Jen. She's a sweetheart. By the way, if y'all haven't met her, I don't know if she's ever been on Clubhouse, but anyway, she's Missy's business partner. So I'm excited to see her.
She's going to Rev B also. Is that what she said?
Let me, what the hell?
I'm gonna get flagged for profanity for this episode. Does that happen on
Oh, no.
YouTube?
Okay.
Okay.
Spring Benson, if y'all know Spring Benson. So she has built quite a business in real estate, like a seven-figure downline business, for example. And she just got recruited by the other cloud-based brokerage. So she was with Real, and she got recruited over to EXP for some really big bucks. And in any event, nor Jen or I are going to join her on that moving, because we were with her in a particular, whatever, came in with her at Real. And so she has a little mini conference summit thing, and it's called Spring Break. And she's bringing that guy, John Klepek or something. I guess he's quite the something. Anyhow,
Sheplak, John Sheplak.
yeah, John Sheplak. And if y'all know Ben Kinney is quite a monster and well known in the business. He's done remarkable things. So he was there last year. Anyway, that's what we're going to. Is It's called Spring Break. And it's any brokerage, everybody's invited, as Tom Ferry's summit is, as actually all of them are. So's Red B. I mean, it's a real broker thing, but everybody's invited. And I say it's a real broker thing only because I guess, and I've never been, and so I don't know the whole scooperoo, but the two people that started Red B, the two who are doing it, Tim Macy and Katie Day, moved me to Texas, Katie Day. And Tim Macy, those are the ones who put it on, and they're with Real. So it's not necessarily a real event. That sounded funny. Anyhow, yeah, okay. What
Well,
else?
enjoy.
Yeah.
When
And
is it?
still waiting for you, Derek. Okay, so spring break is the middle of March. I'm saving a seat for
March.
you over here, Derek. And then, and you're welcome to stay. I got the whole lower level. Hawkon's gone. You can stay down there. And then, Red B is April 24th and 25th in San Antonio.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Okay.
March. I have fire. I'm doing all the firefighter
I
stuff.
love your firefighting stuff, Derek. That's
March
awesome.
is like the actual courses for.
Oh,
It's like 3 nights a week, like all of March, and then part of April, and then that's not even all. Like it's like a lot. As the closer it gets, the more I'm dreading it. To be quite frank,
no,
but
you're not.
and then there's more to it too. And then there was well, I'm doing mod A, B, and C all in a row. So it's like a lot of nights, a lot all in a row. And then you have to do mod D also, plus a hazmat training, plus another training, all of which are like lots of nights and would take up what he just sent it to me was like think it was like May and June, and I was like, I can't do that. It might take me 2 years because then you are able to take the firefighter one course exam or whatever, and then you can go inside buildings and actually fight fires. So I don't. It might take me 2 years to get to that point now because I don't. That would be 3 months out of my year that every night, like I don't. It's just too much, especially in the busy season of real estate. I need to be able to do stuff on the fly more, and I don't want to let people down if I'm missing like the courses and they're paying for all that stuff. It's like it's at the local community college and stuff. So we shall see. But anyway, my March is for sure filled
Hey,
up
you'll
and
manage.
some of April.
You'll do it. And I love watching. I like the way that you are your little storyline on your journey with this, Derek. I commend you on that.
It could be
Hey,
showcased way more, but they are not social media firefighters are not people that are walking around with phones out and posting and stuff. So I have to be like secretive about it almost.
that's funny.
It's yeah, it could be way better. I mean, they should be better at it, just to be able to attract volunteers and stuff. There's so much
Oh,
content. Like every time we
hey,
do something, it's all very visual and very like, whoa, that's cool. I would like to do that.
so
Um,
there you go. There's your calling. Yeah, with the
yeah,
county. Uh-huh. They're gonna recruit you to do the recruiting. Hey, y'all, say a little prayer for us tonight. We've got it's Sophie's birthday, and I got really good seats to the Lakers game. So LeBron and the boys are coming to town. Say a little prayer for my Jazz. It ought to be a fun game.
I don't know anything about basketball right now, but I'm guessing they'll need a prayer, right?
Yeah, they just traded this Jazz player, Luka Doncic, for 23 years old. $43 million to the Lakers. They're trading him tonight at the game. And I thought, well, I wonder how much LeBron's making. Dude, he's only making 48 million. And this little 40-year-old, 23-year-old kid is getting 23 million. I'm like, where's all that money come from? I don't know. But that's a big amount of money.
It
Yeah.
is crazy. It doesn't sound
Yeah.
like that much. Like, don't baseball players get like hundreds of, aren't there people getting like hundreds of millions? Or is that 1 year? And when you get
Yeah,
hundreds of millions, it's over 5 years or
I
whatever.
think I think it's like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Uh-huh.
even a couple million would be a lot. Like back in Michael Jordan's day, and a lot of the people were notoriously like the biggest names back there were making nothing. Even Michael Jordan didn't like make that much. He made his money on shoes and all the
Yeah.
endorsements and commercials. But yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of crazy what athletes get now. And aren't college people, I need to end the room, but college people are
Yeah.
they're getting paid now, aren't they? Isn't there
Oh,
some
I
new
don't
thing
know.
that college kids can be paid something?
Oh, I'll ask tonight. I'll ask who looks like a really knowing, raving fan. I'll ask him to report back to you, Derek. Hey, it was a great room. Thanks, Derek. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. Go get them. Happy hump day and all the things. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.